my name's Steve Warren, and together with Lisa Collins, my business partner, we run INON UK. We're the official distributors for INON underwater camera equipment in the United Kingdom and Ireland. We also design INON UK underwater photography courses, teach workshops and lead safaris to help you to gain your skills and experience as underwater photographers. In this video, we're taking a first look at the keenly awaited INON Z-330 underwater strobe. The INON Z-330 is a natural successor to the very popular INON Z-220 and Z-240 of the early 2000s that made INON's reputation. INON has listened to feedback from experienced underwater photographers and used new technology in order to make this strobe extremely user-friendly and to improve its performance. Two of the most appealing features of the INON Z-330 are to be found in its combination of very wide-angle coverage and very high power. The strobe already covers 110 degrees without diffusers. This is comfortably wider than the popular INON UWL H100 wet wide-angle lenses and will easily cover most extreme wide-angle lenses used on compact system cameras or SLR cameras behind dome ports. The very high guide number of 33 meters in air at 100 ISO. This means that you can use narrow apertures to increase your depth of field and shoot subjects at longer distances. The Z-330 uses two flash tubes in a T-shaped arrangement. The advantage of this is it creates circular flash coverage, not rectangular, and there are two main benefits. Unless you're shooting circular fisheye lenses, for example the specialised Canon 8-15 in a DSLR housing or the INON UFL M150 insect lens, you'll usually be shooting in either the square or rectangular aspect ratio. The circular coverage of the Z-330 means that the flash coverage will overlap your lenses, and that provides a little bit of leeway for aiming your strobe, so when you have to move quickly, it's a little bit more forgiving. The second advantage is that normally you'll want to keep your strobe at the highest point above your camera. That means the light more replicates what we get from sunlight that comes from above. But often you'll want to be able to change your camera's positioning from landscape to portrait. Because of the circular coverage of the Z-330, there's no need to also reorientate the strobe head to take those pictures. The Z-330 is at the heart of a strobe system. Some of the accessories include light modifiers. With your Z-330, you'll receive this dome. It's designed to soften the light. Softer light may work better for certain subjects like soft corals or if you're doing underwater portraiture. It mounts onto the strobe using a simple quarter-turn bayonet system, so it's safe and it's secure. A trade-off with wide-angle strobes is a possibility, particularly in poor visibility, that they'll create backscatter near to the lens or flare where the light strikes the port or the lens itself. To help counter this problem, INON provide the Z-330 with a special rotating shade. Here's how the shade works. What I've done here is set the strobe up and the camera the way we would for close focus wide angle underwater photography, with the strobe low against the camera housing and a wide angle lens fitted. In this position, the wide angle lens is vulnerable to light from the strobe either catching the lens itself or creating backscatter just in front of the lens. By rotating the shade downwards, I can eliminate the light coming down directly in front of the port and thereby create a cleaner image. Another advantage of the Z-330 is the high-speed recycling, as little as 1.6 seconds between shots, even at full power. That's really useful when the action is fast-moving, like bait balls or sharks, and it's powered for hundreds of shots by just 4 AA recyclable or rechargeable batteries, so there's no requirement to have special dedicated power packs or their associated chargers. A nice feature of the Z-330 is a transparent battery pack. That allows you to visually inspect the O-ring before diving for a good seal and is reassuring. With the Z-330, it's very easy to get accurate flash exposures. The Z-330 offers both STGL automatic flash controlled exposure for those who are beginners or working with fast moving subjects, together with full manual exposure control for those who have a little bit more experience or want more control. STGL, or optical sync through the lens metering, is controlled by your own camera's flash meter. The way it works is a flash puts out a pre-flash before the main picture is taken, and it uses this to calculate the correct exposure. It then fires a second time, firing the flash at the correct duration or power to get the exposure correct. However, no automatic system, whether it's automatic focus or automatic white balance, can get it right all of the time. Some subjects might confuse the STTL, and for example, a white subject or a black subject might both appear as grey. In order to prevent that from happening, the INON Z-330 has a special compensation feature. This allows you to slightly overexpose the subject by up to 1.5 stops, or to underexpose it by up to 3 stops in half-stop increments. This makes it very easy, even when using STTL, to get your exposures perfect. Sometimes STTL isn't the best way to go. The pre-flashes in themselves that are required for STTL can cause a number of problems. One is if you're burst shooting, trying to take a lot of pictures as quickly as possible, STTL can really slow you down. The other problem with a pre-flash is a fish can see it, and that can startle a fish and cause it to bolt. Not all cameras can support STTL, and in these situations you may prefer to use manual exposure. The INON Z-330 has 13 different manual power settings, so you've got huge discretion over how you shoot, and these again are arranged in a half-stop increment. And if the lowest power is not enough, INON produces a special neutral density filter for the strobe. This reduces the power of the strobe by 4 stops. This would be used in special circumstances, for example where you want to shoot a close-up but want to use a very wide f-stop in order to have minimum depth of field or to enhance bokeh. The Z-330 has a colour temperature of 5,500 Kelvin. This approximates sunlight at noon, and it yields very true colours. However, some photographers like to use photo editing and INON warm-up filters. INON warm-up filters are designed to warm up the colour temperature by reducing it to either 4,900 Kelvin or 4,600 Kelvin. Later, in photo editing, when the colour temperature is corrected for the foreground back to 5,500 Kelvin, the result is that the background water becomes a much stronger blue or green, giving your images far more punch. The Z-330 has a very sensitive slave sensor. The slave sensor will normally be used with a fibre optic cable in order to trigger the strobe, but it can also be used for off-camera lighting, for creative effects such as inside shipwrecks or when working around caves. INON fibre optic cables are extremely reliable. They're made up of over 100 individual strands, and the cables are often the weakest link in an underwater strobe system, so it's worth investing a little bit more and buying a genuine INON cable. Lisa and I have seen misfires and corrupted STTL when third-party fibre optic cables have been used. For those cameras that don't support fibre optic firing, the Z-330 can also take an electrical cable. The electrical cable, once again, is the weakest link in your underwater flash system, so we would always advise that you carry a spare cable. To assist with properly aiming your strobe in dark conditions, the Z-330 is equipped with a 220 lumen LED modelling light. The modelling light is linked to the shutter, so it automatically goes off during exposure. The INON Z-330 is an outstanding strobe with a unique combination of features, which make it ideal for the aspiring beginner as well as a seasoned professional. It features wide-angle coverage, high power, fast recycling, choices of automatic and manual exposure, convenience features like built-in modelling lights, a choice of connections, and switches that are easy to use with gloves on. Lisa and I can only personally guarantee the backup on your strobe if it is purchased through INON UK or one of our official INON UK dealers. You can check a list of official dealers on the INON UK website, and if you have any doubts about whether you're being offered a grey import, get in touch with us and we'll advise you. If you have any questions about the Z-330, please get in touch with either Lisa or myself or one of our INON UK dealers. INON UK offers a range of underwater photography courses, workshops and safaris to help you gain experience and improve your underwater photography skills. Our Level 1 underwater photography course is designed for the beginner to intermediate photographer. It teaches you the basics of underwater photography, including how to use manual settings on your cameras and how to shoot close-ups and wide-angle pictures. We also show you how to take well-exposed, well-lit underwater pictures using a single strobe. Our Level 2 lighting course teaches advanced creative underwater lighting techniques with both strobes and video lights. During that course, you'll learn about advanced techniques such as slow sync, multiple strobes, snoop use, and the use of color correction filters. Thank you for watching.